What's up guys, it's George from Zero Period Productions, and today we're going to talk about Fallout 4. Yes, I know it has not been officially announced yet, but at this point I think it's safe to say that Fallout 4 is going to be the next Bethesda game. Today I'm going to be talking about three things. I'm going to be talking about Fallout 4 in terms of what we know, what we think we know, and what we want. Although I don't know what you guys want, I know what I want, so I guess the third part is essentially my personal wish list about Fallout 4. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm a big fan of the Fallout franchise, although, like many people my age, I kind of started with Fallout 3 because, Fallout 1 and 2 were, 1990s games on PC, and in the 1990s I was, I don't even know when the games came out. I think they came out, let's say, 97? In 1997 I was 5, so there's no way I was playing Fallout, or Fallout 2 for that matter. But, Fallout 3, when that came out, I had an Xbox 360, I was older. I don't know how old because I can't do math. I don't even know what year Fallout 3 came out. I probably should have, written some notes down for this video. But I did play through Fallout 3. I played through all of its DLCs. I played through New Vegas and all of its DLCs as well. Very proud moment for me. I actually 100%ed both of those games in terms of achievements. I'm a bit of an achievement connoisseur, not whore. Connoisseur because that's classy. I'm a classy gentleman. But at this point, I feel that it's pretty safe to say that Fallout 4 is the next Bethesda game, and there's plenty of facts to back it up, so without further ado, let's jump into the news. The first piece of news I want to talk about is also the most recent. So last week, Eric Todd Dellums, also known as 3Dog, posted on Twitter saying, "To all my Fallout 3 and 3Dog fans, there may be more of the dog coming, fingers crossed." I was going to do a 3Dog impression there, but it kind of immediately fell apart. I don't have that voice, like Mr. Todd Dellums. And then it also came out that he was allowed by Bethesda to make this tease. So, from that, it's kind of safe to say that Bethesda wanted him to say this. They want people kind of amped up for the fact that 3Dog is returning to something, and at this point it's pretty safe to say that Fallout 3 is not getting another DLC. So, Fallout 4 most likely. And then the next piece of news I have is actually a bit older, but some of you may or may not remember this. This was back from August, I believe. Someone from MIT, or at least it's assumed they're from MIT, came out and said, "The rumors are true, Fallout 4 will take place in Boston. In case you haven't heard, Bethesda has recently been scoping out and researching Boston. They also have a strong connection to MIT. I may or may not be an MIT employee, but that's really all I can say for fear of losing my job." And, on the internet, you gotta take everything you read with a grain of salt, because anyone can be making anything up. And for all we know, this could be false, but I honestly believe it. Enough people have reported about it for it to, have some weight to it. And I can understand why whoever this isn't saying who they are or if they're an MIT employee or not. Because if MIT is involved in Fallout 4, if they're helping out with Bethesda at all, odds are they and every employee they had to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. And the fact that someone's saying this at all, if it's true, they can get in a lot of trouble. And if they confirm they're an MIT employee, they could lose their job, which, would suck for them. I'm very glad that this person did go out of their way to, give us this information, and it's really cool. I'm pretty happy. I would like Fallout 4 to be set in Boston, and I'm going to talk about that in rumors and in the wish list. So back in August 2010, Bethesda was working on Skyrim, obviously. And at that time, they did an interview, and they explained that they were working on 2 titles right now, one of them being Skyrim. And, kind of going back to the Bethesda model, or like the Bethesda schedule, back when they released Oblivion, the last Elder Scrolls game, the previous Elder Scrolls game, the game to follow that was Fallout 3. Who's to say that after Skyrim it's not going to be Fallout 4, and they're going to use the Skyrim engine, or like parts of that engine, the creation engine, to make Fallout 4 what it is, kind of like how Fallout 3 used aspects of, it used Oblivion's engine, the Gamebryo engine, which sounds like embryo, obviously. Ugh. And it's funny because they actually did mention that in another interview, saying that Skyrim's creation engine and the technologies associated in it would be used in future Bethesda titles, which I think is really cool. Kind of unrelated. I wish Bethesda would sell the engine to people so that they could make really cool games kind of like this, but hey, I don't think Bethesda needs to. They have enough money as it is. This section of the video is probably going to be a little shorter or maybe slightly longer than the news section because what I want to talk about for the rumors and speculation is kind of just going to be built upon the couple points made in the news section of this video. So first off, so let's just roll with the fact that Fallout 4 is going to be set in Boston and Massachusetts. Let's assume that that post on Reddit was true and that we're going to have Fallout 4 set in what's known in Fallout lore as the Commonwealth, which is the Boston, Massachusetts area. Now, I think that's a really great setting, especially since in Fallout 3, Bethesda introduced 2 new groups, although their appearance was very brief. It was in the quest, The Replicated Man, and we were introduced to the Institute. The Institute, I'm a little tired today, guys, bear with me. The Institute, which is this like scientific group, and they're the ones responsible for building futuristic androids, kind of like Harkness in Fallout 3, the security chief from Rivet City. And then they also introduced the Railroad, which is based on the Underground Railroad, which, for those of you who don't know your American history, was the group that helped get slaves from the south to the north so that they could be free. And essentially in Fallout 3, the Railroad is responsible for trying to, get these enslaved androids and bring them to places where they can be free, which you can help them do in Fallout 3, which I thought was cool. It was a very nice choice that you could make, either giving the android back or, giving him up and letting him have his own life. It really does make you think kind of about morality and is a robot property, or is, a robot who's like, self-aware, is he human almost? And if we do have the Institute and MIT and the Commonwealth in Fallout 4, we'll definitely see a lot more of that. I'm not sure at this point if Fallout 4's story would revolve around androids, if you're an android, or if the Institute and the Railroad are just factions that you can help out with and do quests for. Either way, I think it'll be really cool. I'm pretty excited for that. Going on to the part about Three Dog possibly being in Fallout 4, once again, let's just assume kind of that the post is indicating that they're working on Fallout 4. Now, I am more than happy with having Three Dog in Fallout 4. If anything, I would like to see returning characters from Fallout 3 in ways that make sense. And in my opinion, they can make Three Dog's appearance in Fallout 4, make a lot of sense. Because Three Dog, he's very big about fighting the good fight and kind of trying to clean up the wasteland and everything. And at the end of Fallout 3, at the end of Broken Steel, you've essentially fought off the super mutants, you've destroyed the Enclave, and you've provided free clean water to the wasteland. At that point, there's not too much for him to do. Yes, there's still raiders, yes, there's still the occasional super mutant and whatnot, but at that point, it's pretty safe to say that the Capital Wasteland is a lot better off now. And that means that he can, kind of pack up and go to where the next big problem is. And obviously he wasn't in New Vegas, so hey, why not go to Boston? It's a short while away. All he has to do is pack up his good friends at the Brotherhood of Steel, take them with him, and then we get both Three Dog and the Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout 4. Works for me, right? And these next couple things I want to talk about kind of fell into news, but at the same time they also kind of fell into rumors. Bethesda did have a job listing a while ago, and they were saying they are looking for people who are interested in working on next-generation consoles. So that kind of begs the question, is Bethesda working on Fallout 4 for the next generation of consoles? If you're a PC gamer, this really doesn't matter to you, but if you're an Xbox 360 gamer like myself, or a PlayStation 3 owner, we have to wonder, is Fallout 4 going to be a launch title for these new consoles that have yet to be announced as well? For all we know, that's the reason why Fallout 4 hasn't been announced, because the new consoles haven't been announced, so no one can talk about anything yet. Personally, I would really like to see the next Fallout game on the next console. I'm probably buying the next Xbox no matter what, so it doesn't really matter to me too much if it's on this console, if it's on that console. But if it's on, let's call it the Xbox 720. If it's on the Xbox 720, I'd be happy because, they can take advantage of a lot of new technology and a lot of new graphics power, because the Xbox 360 is limited. If you played Skyrim, yes, it does look much better on the PC, because the PC, unlike the Xbox, is essentially unlimited because you can change it whenever you want. I would love to see Fallout 4 on the Xbox 720 on the PS4, and hopefully we'll hear something about it soon. PAX East is right around the corner, guys, a couple months away. Let's hope Bethesda and Microsoft and Sony all have something to announce sometime soon. The silence is deafening at this point. Bethesda wants you to know that they're working on something. Just tell us already, honestly. Moving on to the final segment of this video is the wish list. And because I don't know what everyone else out there wants, and, it's not my job to, I'm going to talk about kind of what I personally, as a Fallout fan, would like to see in the next Fallout game. And I would love it if people did weigh in, if they leave comments saying what they would like to see, if they agree or disagree with what I have to say, etc. Everyone's feedback is appreciated. Definitely leave it on this video, should you watch it. First off, I would like to say that both Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas were great games on their own, and kind of comparing the two, there are certain things I prefer about Fallout 3 and a few things that I prefer when it comes to New Vegas. With New Vegas, there's a shorter list, so I guess I'll start with that. New Vegas, I loved the fact that you could aim down the sights. I loved the fact that there were factions and faction disguises. I liked how that kind of made it so it wasn't as much about the morality system almost, but it made you kind of decide who you wanted to be your friend and who you didn't, which is kind of a nice change of pace from Fallout 3. And I do hope that they keep factions and faction disguises in Fallout 4, especially if the Institute and the Railroad aren't part of the main story, if they're essentially just two factions on the side. It would be really cool if you have like alternate storylines for either the Institute or the Railroad if you decide to help one or the other. I think that in particular would be really cool. Another thing that I think New Vegas really did right was increasing the level cap with each of its DLCs and starting off the base level cap for the base game at level 30 versus, 20 for Fallout 3. I really do hope that Fallout 4 does kind of incorporate this Obsidian system that was used in New Vegas, how there's a higher level cap to start with and how they increase it every time there's a new DLC. I think it really helps, especially because they added a ton of new perks, or at least some new perks for each DLC. It's definitely something that helps enhance the game and makes it a lot better. It's something that gives DLC more of a reason to buy it, and I think that's always a good thing. DLC is great, but sometimes there's skeptical people, and when you can convince them, oh yeah, you should buy it because it raises your level cap, or because you get new perks, people are going to be more inclined. It's always a good idea. I think that Fallout 3 did a lot of things really right that New Vegas maybe didn't do as right, which is why a lot of people will say that Fallout 3 was the better game of the two. First off, Fallout 3, I loved the setting. The setting of DC was really well done, and the fact is that Fallout 3 just had a better setting because DC is a more interesting place than Nevada is. When you think about DC, there's a lot of things you can do. They did the mall, they did the White House, they did pretty much every major attraction that you can think of in DC and in the Virginia area surrounding it. In Nevada, what do you think of? You think of Vegas, and then what? Just sand. And then the end, that's essentially what New Vegas was. It was essentially Las Vegas and sand. And, I understand that it's very kind of true to what Nevada is, but it doesn't make for the most interesting game, especially for like an open world game where you just go around exploring. It's like, oh, look, I found sand dune 21 and a half or something. I don't know why there's a half a sand dune. Maybe there was some wind. Who knows? One of the reasons why I like the idea of Fallout 4 being in Boston is a very nice city. I've been there only once, and that was for PAX East. And I wish I had been able to spend more time there, but I think it'd be really great to have Fallout 4 set in Boston. I really liked the metro system in Fallout 3 and how you could explore that, and there wasn't any of that in New Vegas. But Boston has a subway system, and we could kind of see that making a return to Fallout 4, and it has a different aesthetic, so it doesn't have to be exactly the same in terms of looks. Boston in general just has a ton of really cool locations. It has the convention centers. I think there's 2 or 3 huge convention centers, and I personally would love to see them use a convention center maybe as like a huge raider base, or maybe they'll use it as a makeshift town, kind of like they did with Rivet City in Fallout 3. Or they can even just use it as like a trading hub, kind of like the hub in Fallout 1 and 2. There's a lot of options that can be done with that. There's also Fenway Park, and I'm not even a Red Sox fan, but I would like to see a post-apocalyptic Fenway Park. I think it'd be funny too if we had it where you go in and they still have fans fighting, and they've formed these like 2 like clans, one clan for the Yankees, one for the Red Sox, and they're constantly fighting their way across the stadium. That'd be really cool. And then I would love it if we had more than just MIT as one of the colleges. There's a ton of great colleges in Boston, and there's some smaller, not as great colleges, but it would be really cool if maybe different colleges and different professors would be kind of dissing one another, or like you go to say you go to Boston University, or the remains of Boston University, and they'll be like, oh, don't talk to the Institute, they're crazy, they build androids. And then you'll go to the Institute, and they'll be like talking about the events of Fallout 3. It's like, they were so excited about running water, about clean running water, we've had that for years. The options are endless, the possibilities are endless. And like I said, Boston as a city has a really cool aesthetic. I'm going to put up some pictures for you guys to see. It's a really beautiful city, and it can still look really beautiful if you just tear it down. There's really nice brownstones. There's really nice historic monuments and locations. I would love to see kind of like some of the parks just like ripped up and torn apart, and you just being able to go through that, kind of like how the mall in Fallout 3 had the trenches where the super mutants fought. That'd be really cool. There's a ton of really cool stuff that can be done with Fallout 4. I know you guys are excited for it. I know I'm excited for it. The day they announce Fallout 4, I'm going to go out and pre-order the most expensive limited edition they have. I'm going to save up for that. I don't care if it's on the next Xbox. I'll buy the next Xbox. I just want them to announce Fallout 4. I want to be able to aim down the sights. I want factions. I want a really cool torn down Boston. And, hopefully everything that they've been saying about it being set in Boston and Massachusetts is true, because I think that would be a great location for a Fallout game. I would rather have it in Boston than New York. I live in New York. I love New York. I still think Boston would look better. That's going to be it for this time, guys. Maybe I'll make a new video whenever they come out with an actual announcement or a trailer. Let me know what you think. Leave your opinions below, and I'll see you guys in the future. Bye.